Everybody, we are back. It is Taped Online's favorite podcast, favorite channel, favorite everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL for me, at mholder95 for Matt, and of course, discount code TDL pandasubs.com for 35% off. All right. So the Raiders lost again. They are 2-11. They are a really bad team. I really feel like this game really solidified how bad they are, in my opinion. And not even about that, the defense played pretty well for a while, and then they kind of broke at the end again. And then the offense, they have a lot of problems in the red zone right now. I think it's their biggest issue. But it's like the fumble snaps and the stupid penalties at certain spots, and giving up that big play at the end of the game is just and then Aiden O'Connell getting hurt. It's all leading up to the Raiders probably getting that number 1 pick. But Matt, what are your thoughts, man?
I mean, the Buccaneers tried to lose this game. The way that first quarter went, outside of that first quarter, they were awful. Baker Mayfield was awful today. And like you said, I felt like the Raiders defense played pretty well. The pass rush got to him a lot better than I was expecting going into the game. I think they ended up with 4 sacks, 8 quarterback hits. And there was one sequence where Mayfield overthrew one throw that was open and then skipped one on the next, on the third down to kind of give the Raiders a chance. But like you said, it's just been the story of the year. The offense can't get anything going, and the defense just eventually gets exhausted of having to come up with big play after big play and breaks down at the end. And I have a little rant I got to go on to start this. And it has to do with Mr. Antonio Pierce. Okay. People love comparing Antonio Pierce to Dan Campbell because he's the former player who's the toes the line between being a little bit of a hard ass and kind of the player's coach. Well, here's the big difference between Antonio Pierce and Dan Campbell. 4th and 1 when you are 2-10 and you punt. Dan Campbell does not hesitate. Dan Campbell sends his team out and they go for it. If you don't get it, who the fuck cares?
Who fucking cares? You're right.
Who cares? And this is the difference between these two. When you make this argument and make this comparison, Dan Campbell coaches like he has balls down to the floor. Antonio Pierce coaches like he's castrated. This is ridiculous. And it's so fitting that every single time he makes these decisions, they end up still going terribly wrong for him. What happens on the next possession that the Raiders defense do? What do you know? Again, the defense has to come up with another play, and they've been on the field so damn long in this whole game that they give up 2-3 big plays on the drive and end up giving up a touchdown anyway. Just like in week 1 when they did against the Chargers and he had a cowardly punt that led to another touchdown for the Chargers. Learn your lesson. And I have to point out too, this is not necessarily related to that, but that challenge was awful. Not even close that one on Trey Tucker. And it's every single week we're sitting here saying the same thing. Antonio Pierce, game management. Antonio Pierce, cowardly punts. How long are we going to keep saying this? As you can tell, I've reached a boiling point, and I want the Raiders to tank. Yeah. But to see this keep happening week after week is just getting infuriating for me.
Yeah, I agree with Jeff said you're using your dad voice, Matt.
I am.
You went full dad.
I've been angrier in the last month, man. My blood's been boiling a little bit more. I guess it's
the less sleep, bro. The less sleep you get. That's
definitely. Less sleep, more anxiety.
Yeah, but because I saw my mentions after I said, when Aiden O'Connell got hurt on that throw that he made on the sideline, he got hurt, which probably was roughing the passer if you want to go there, But my thing is that was 4th and 2 around the 43 or something like that. And I was like, and people were like, well, trust the defense and all that shit. I'm like, the defense hasn't been good all year. So what are we really trusting? Because they've been good for 2 quarters. And even that punt to me, I was like, okay, I know Desmond Ridder is a new quarterback or whatever. And maybe that's what they thought there. But in my opinion, at that point, you got to be aggressive there. Right?
And you know what Desmond Ridder is good at?
Zone read.
Running the ball. Exactly. You know what would be a great call on 4th and 2? Zone read.
That's what I was thinking too, man. But it just bothers me, how he handles things, right? And that's a big part of all of this, is just the way that he is handling this team, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and I know people like tanking, man, but I do like, me personally, I don't like seeing this team suck. It really does bother me. Like, especially, when you get to a point where like you almost win, like,
Yeah.
or if
When you
like,
give a
don't
game
almost
away
win,
like this,
don't
like you give
almost
them,
win.
yeah. Get blown out, and like
Yeah.
let me go take my nap in the second half or something
Yeah,
like that.
lose 33-7. Like, just give me some 38-6. I feel a lot better. But like, these guys are in these games. Like, Aiden O'Connell threw that pick on that play, and that was a big drive. I as soon as that drive got past 10 minutes, I was like, oh, they're not scoring here. As soon as it got past 10 minutes, I'm like, you guys really think that you guys are really going to score on this 10-minute drive? Like, no. I was like, you're getting a field goal out of this. You're not going to score on this long drive that they were doing, right? I'm like, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna happen. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying one step closer to a real QB. Like, no tears here. Like, yeah, because you guys are just cool with watching your team lose. I don't like watching the Raiders lose. I mean, I get it, and this quarterback class doesn't excite me that much where I could just be like, yeah, I'm happy to lose. And there's no, like, what I'm saying, maybe it was DJ Lagway was coming out and he was gonna be the number one pick. I'd be like, yeah, lose, give me DJ Lagway. But like, there's no DJ Lagway in this draft, so it's like, sure, but I just don't like watching them lose, and especially losing like this. That's all it is. People have their opinions. Some people, I think some people like the Raiders losing anyways. So, in my opinion, I think it's like, feeds the negativity. So, but it's a different story. But I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna fully tank, get your ass kicked. Like, I don't stop playing these games where you guys are in them. Like last week,
playing with my emotions is what you're saying.
Yeah, like last week, you know what I'm saying? They lose by a damn snap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they should have won that game. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's the little coaching things why that's why AP should be out here. Because to be honest, this team probably shouldn't be tanking. Right? I mean,
what do you mean by they shouldn't be taking?
Like some of these games, right? If they had a better coaching, I think they pull out some of these.
Right, they would be winning your game. Like they'd be winning and have like a couple more wins. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Yeah. And I mean, I'm team tank. Like I've admitted that too. Like I will say in the 3 to 4 hour window on Sundays, the fan in me takes back over, and I like want to see them win the game. Like I'm getting pissed off at that play, and obviously on my little rant. But at the same time, like it's like kind of like what you're hitting at is like, it's the fact that it's self-destructing plays that make them lose the game. It's not like they're just getting beat. And I mean, they're not great at that either, but like the fact that like you said, they lose on a fumbled snap and missing 3 field goals last week. This week they lose because they have a cowardly punt and turn over to the red zone and can't convert opportunities. Like that is the frustrating part for me, definitely too. But yeah, I think tomorrow, big picture, I will be a little bit happier when I see that they have number 1 pick. But
yeah, and that's
I am with you on. I'd rather see him get blown out. And I thought that was going to happen in the first quarter. And I was like, you know what? Maybe we can get some red zone going on this game. Or what?
Watch the Vikings versus Falcons, or like some of these. I mean, like Bryce Young's pretty good. Oh, the Raiders getting blown out. Maybe I could put this on multi-view and I could just watch the game. No, they want to be in the game and be like, okay, oh my god, they might win. You know what I'm saying? Like, it puts you. Yeah. Don't do that to me.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So don't do that.
Toying with this. That's the frustrating part.
Yeah, that's what I like. But it is what it is. But I guess we should talk about the game overall. The performance.
Should we start with Aiden?
Yeah, I mean, we start with Aiden O'Connell. Definitely like we said, he's inconsistent. It's gonna be one game. He's gonna be good, really good, and the next game he's gonna be really bad. And then today we saw really bad Aiden O'Connell. I mean, they did try to push the ball down the field a lot, which I thought was interesting. They were trying to do that really early on, but with him, it's just, we knew the pressure was going to get to him eventually with all those blitzes, and then he just started making stupid decisions, right? And then that was basically a big part of his game today. And then he ended up getting hurt, and then of course Desmond Ridder came in, and Ridder is just, I don't know, he's confusing. I don't know. So,
Ridder's a good tank quarterback. Ridder might give us one of those blowouts.
He is.
Yeah, I mean,
he is.
Like you said, I think you talked on it with the deep shots. Like they were taking them, but they felt more forced. Like I think was it the opening possession or their first possession where he just threw it up to, I think it was Tucker, and Tucker was not open and he underthrew him by about 5 yards. Like as soon as that happened, I'm like, this is going to be the classic Aiden O'Connell down game. Like, and again, we talked about it on the preview. We talked about it on the reaction. We talked about it in the film review. This is the problem with Aiden O'Connell. We get one of these great games, these flashes, and then we get one or two stinkers back to back. And at this point, like, you got to feel like that's who he is, and that's why he's not the guy moving forward. And that's why we're sitting here talking about. That's why anyone's sitting here talking about the Raiders getting the number one pick and drafting his replacement. Like he did his work to make sure that the Raiders, or to confirm that the Raiders are going to have to draft someone to find someone else a quarterback next year.
Yeah. My boy Cotton Lewis says at least O'Connell was injured after that run. I mean, he was maybe, but I mean, it was not nothing, I mean, that he couldn't keep playing, right? I mean, maybe if he's hurt in that play, maybe it affected his play a little bit. But, to me, the only excuse I would make for him is on the interception. Maybe Brock Bowers should have pushed through on that return route, but that's it.
Yeah. To me, what happened on that one was they got the free rusher on one of the blitz stunts that you showed, and he panicked under pressure and just threw it.
Yeah. It maybe expecting him to come across his face, but that's a lot of expectation to me. I mean, that's why he ended up throwing that pick, because he wasn't going to get through, especially with the leverage that the dude had on him. It just wasn't a good decision. You just got to throw that damn ball away. You just got to throw it away.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no way around, especially when it's 14-10. You just had like a 10-minute drive. I mean, you want to at least get some points out of that. Like, I mean, make it 14-13. Then you still have the feeling, okay, this game is not out of hand, right? We didn't make a big mistake. It doesn't give the team a little hype there. But yeah, man, it was a lot of Aiden O'Connell kind of just being up and down. I mean, he's inconsistent. He's an inconsistent player. Yeah. Like I said, he's been like that his whole career. So, I mean, that's what we were talking about that. I mean, people, having this big hissy fit that he played well. I'm like, guys, just wait until the next week. You might feel better about it. And I see some people are excited that he didn't play well. But, it's nothing I've never seen. He is just, that's who he is. Was at Purdue. He has been in the NFL. And that's what he is. But I mean, it does kind of suck he got hurt though. But
yeah, I mean, of course. Yeah. And we said the same thing with Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew wasn't playing well, but don't want to see him get hurt, and don't want to see Aiden O'Connell get hurt either. I feel bad for him in that regard. But the fact of the matter is, even before the injury, he wasn't playing well. And if he was that bad that he was literally costing them the game, like, you got to take yourself out at some point, or someone's got to step in and be like, hey, not today, earlier than. At the end of the day, if it's that bad that if that's the biggest excuse for him, then you got to get him out of there.
Yeah. Well, Sincere McCormick had a great game though.
Another 5-yard per carry game.
He looks like a back, bro. You know what I mean? Like he had 15 carries today, 78 yards. They kind of got away from it when they're down 21-10. But man,
had some tough short yardage runs too, which. Not to rehash it, but him having some success on short yardage makes the fourth downs more frustrating. But yeah, I think like every week I feel like he finds something new that kind of shows up that like stands out to me. And again, him running behind his pads even more today, I thought was really impressive. And three games in a row that he's played really well. And I think we go into next season, and again, we're looking at guys who can contribute. He seems to be one of them. So for sure. Yeah,
man, when Levante David just bounced off him. You know what I mean? Nice. Yeah, Levante David doesn't miss a lot of tackles. I mean, he just bounced off him, and then he got 7, and then, he was looking like my boy Cam Scatterbro over there at ASU. Shout out ASU. On that one run on 3rd and 1, was set up, I think their first score. He looks really good. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, hopefully he's not Zamir Whiting us. I don't think he is. He looks more of a more natural runner, can sees holes a lot better, finds things, able to slip through holes, get those those tough yards, right? And he even caught the football well. I thought a one throw that O'Connell threw him on the swing route was a little bit in front of him, but he showed some good hands, some soft hands there. Yeah. So it's gonna be pretty. Important to make sure that he keeps playing, because he looks like a legit, serious NFL running back. If he plays pretty well, then maybe you bring in another running back with him, right? Maybe you do draft somebody else, but I don't know, man. He looks pretty damn good. I mean, he
Yeah,
looks natural. Right. And I've been
for
saying
sure.
that for a while. And if you have a natural running back like that, and it's been 3 games in a row when he's averaging more than 5 yards a carry. I mean, Zamir White didn't do that. Zamir White had some 3.7s last year,
Yeah.
where he was like 21 carries, 76 yards, type of shit. So if McCormick is doing that 3 games in a row, I feel like there might be something there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I feel like
for sure.
he might be pretty damn good. So I don't know. What's your thoughts, Matt?
I mean, I think the biggest difference between him and Zamir White is one for this is the first time we've seen Sincere McCormick, whereas like Zamir, like we had seen him for a year and a half, like before the end of last year, a year and 3 quarters, and he never showed us any promise. Like this is the first time, this is Sincere McCormick's first opportunity to get on the field, and he's proven it already from the jump. Like, and I think part of it too, like going into each of their games, and I think you talked about this too, is like his vision is so much better that makes him better and more natural running back. Whereas Zamir, like part of the end of that last year's stretch, like he got better at it, but it was still kind of like he was just hitting the open holes and making and breaking off some long runs. Whereas like Sincere's finding cutback lanes and he's showing more agility and the ability to like jump cut and stuff like that. That gives him more promise and I think just showing more traits. But I do think you still go after another running back. I think if you want to look at their backfield and compare them around the league, like I think Sincere McCormick can be like your kind of like your David Montgomery type of guy, where they might want to get like a Jahmyr Gibbs, who's a little bit more dynamic than Sincere's, but he's definitely a good player and definitely, like I said, showed a ton of promise with 3 games in a row. I mean, he's 3 for 3 right now and having good games. Zamir White, we never were able to say that about him.
Yeah. I mean, in saying there's no like 3.7s or anything like that, and he's just showing a lot of promise. So another story people are going to talk about in this game, Michael Mayer getting 9 targets today.
I was thinking about it. I mean, obviously, the Mayor had to miss a good chunk of those games in the middle of the season or the beginning of the middle of the season. But I felt like this is kind of what you would hope to envision the Raiders passing game a little bit when they drafted Brock Bowers of like, okay, Brock Bowers is maybe getting taken away. I mean, we'll see on the film how much he was actually taken away. But the fact that you can dump it to another tight end and he can have a big game and it's like, okay, now you got to deal with this guy too. And ended up having, I don't know what the numbers were, but I got to imagine he had a career high today because I don't think he's ever done better than this. So it was a really impressive day from him too, especially when, again, we talked about it. Quarterback play wasn't exactly on point today. So that was another good takeaway. A couple of young guys that made some plays for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want to see. I mean, if you have those 2 tight ends, you do 12 personnel, and you could throw him the ball too. So, I mean, yeah, he led Myers led the team in targets, 7 catches, 67 yards. Bowers still had 5 targets, his 3 catches, 49 yards. But yeah, I mean, we'll look at the film and try to see what they did to kind of take him away. Because I'm pretty sure that was their focus, man.
Yeah,
and even knowing what type of routes he runs, because he runs that return route all the time. So they kind of had an idea of what he was going to do today. So yeah, but I was surprised like they didn't give him like no screens or swing routes or anything like that, or just try to get him some touches. So that was surprising. But yeah. And I don't know. I mean, the O-line didn't look too bad today, in my opinion. They did a pretty decent job. I mean, we'll see on the film, see how that looks. But it wasn't too bad. I thought O'Connell had plenty of time, and then Desmond Ridder had plenty of time too. He didn't fumble, so that's how we know he had time. He didn't fumble.
He did kind of fumble. He had the fumbled snap.
Yeah, that's true.
The streak lives on.
he didn't fumble, so it was,
he didn't get strip sacked, but
exactly. All right, so to the defense. Let's talk about the defense. So the defense started off really bad, looked awful, and then they had like 2 straight quarters where they looked great, and then they had a quarter where they looked awful again. So they had awful first quarter, great second and third quarter, and an awful fourth quarter. So I mean, that was basically the defense today. What were your thoughts on them?
I mean, I will say one guy that really I felt like has been playing really well and might get lost. Trevon Merrick had a hell of a game today. I think I was looking at the stats before this, credited with like 3 passes defended, was flying around the field, made another nice play. I think he blew up a screen, but I think it might have been at the line of scrimmage, so he didn't technically get the TFL from there. And there was one at one point in like, I think it was like the first or second quarter where they just showed like a close up on him. And I don't know, it was just something about it. Like he just had this look in his eye, like he was playing like a man possessed. And for the last few weeks, I mean, we saw it a little bit when I was breaking down Lalu. Like, he's been playing out of his mind. He's been playing like a dude who's been who wants to finish this season strong. I mean, part of it's probably wants a little payday in the offseason, but he's been playing with the man with his hair on fire last few weeks, and I felt like that really showed up today. Got a batted pass again today on a screen, so been playing really well. Ended up getting a half a sack with Chase on that third down when Mayfield scrambled. So I thought he was flying around the field and has been playing really well. He's probably going to be one of my guys that I break down on during the week. So
yeah, he had 3 pass deflections today.
Yep.
5 total tackles and a half sack. But yeah, I mean, he's really been playing well all year. And it's interesting that he's playing and he's more of a box safety this year, which is really interesting.
Well,
go ahead.
I think the reason for that, like if you look at his like snap counts, once Marcus Epps got injured, like they had just been like keeping him in the box because Isaiah Palomau like can't do it. And Isaiah Palomau, ever since his first career start this year, has been pretty bad. So I think that's part of it, like why Merrick's been standing out more in the box because he's playing in there. But the fact that like we know he can play free safety, and now we figured out that he can play in the box pretty well. Like that was one of the things that I loved about him coming out of TCU was he's versatile and he can play in multiple levels on your defense. And I think, as far as when you go to talking about giving guys an extension, like that's something that like gets me even more excited. The fact that we're now seeing this full complete safety kind of come into fruition because again, like you said, he's been playing really well in the box and has a great track record as a free safety too. So
yeah, and that's a good point. You've seen his growth is a big thing. I think Chason had a pretty decent game too. He had the pick and then the half sack as well. Adam Butler had a pretty good game, had a sack too as well. I mean, even Amari Burney did the forced fumble, man. We had a Amari Burney signing. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was a nice blitz. Him and Merrick on that one. That one too, right? Merrick covered it. Yeah. I think Merrick might have actually been the one that hit the ball out of Mayfield's hand. But either way, nice play by Burney to get the sack too on that blitz.
Yeah, because I feel like that's what happened in the second and third quarter is that they just started blitzing because I think the first quarter they were just letting Mayfield sit back there and they weren't getting any pass rush, so they started blitzing and then Mayfield, plus Bucky Irving went out too, but then they start throwing all over. Mayfield had issues with picking up the blitz and figuring out where it was coming from, so they did a really good job with that. But I thought defensively they did pretty good, but you see that they're just so down on players when they can't do that over a full game.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like they have to do that. They're not gonna have that ability. I mean, that's why you have because you have Paloma out there and K-Dot is just wide open on a play action. I don't know what happened on there. You got to see all 22 on that one. But I mean, like goddamn, like he's just wide open on a big third down. Like you're not getting I feel like they're like they get too much depth in zone sometimes. I feel like too. Ever since BD pointed that out. It's been. I
mean, their spacing is just all off in zone. Like BD pointed out too. Like they'll also have plenty of moments where they're way too shallow in zone too. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's just So like I said, the team is bad, right? So it's not as like if they're like a mediocre team and they're losing games like this and having these stupid things happen, it'd be different of a feeling. Because the team is really bad, but it's just I still feel like sometimes if they had better coaching, then we would see them win some of these games. That
we'd see more of the guys on the depth chart step up a little bit. Which I mean, I like the guy from a scheme perspective. I do think he has had some good moments, but it's been getting harder to defend Patrick Graham as the season goes on because of that.
Yeah. All right. Let's get some of these questions here. I got what we got here. Drew Aller season.
I tell you what, I said before this game going into it, I like what I've seen from Drew Aller. I do think part of the reason why he's not given as much hype is Penn State's wide receivers are pretty bad. They have that good tight end Warren, but other than that, I don't get a ton of separation. I feel like in like the Ohio State game that was really prevalent, and he made some nice plays against Oregon. Made some bad ones that ended up costing with that pick at the end, which was really just a bad decision. But I like Aller. I think he's a sneaky quarterback prospect in this class. I think he'll get some steam as we get closer to the draft process, especially if he plays well in the playoff coming up, and then Senior Bowl combine, all that stuff too, if he does the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, see, because my whole problem with Drew Aller is like there's this play late in that game where they did like the Penn State does that stupid, what is that they line up like 3 linemen over here and they have like, and he had like a wide open throw to Tyler Warren. He just airmailed it. Yeah, and when he has that talent, you're like, okay, maybe he has a talent, but I don't know. I just feel like if you can't throw the ball like 40 times in college and you're that big, you have that big of an arm, you could move. That's my thing with Drew Aller. Like, what do they know that we don't know? You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's a guy that definitely, like, I think, like you said, like, I wouldn't trust him to start right away, which is, I think, why you're not getting him in the class of like a Shedeur Sanders, who again is the most pro ready in this class. But I think the talent is definitely there with him. So he's an interesting guy. So we'll see.
All right. How are we feeling today? AOC truthers hate that he's hurt. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I kind of figured when AOC had that good game and he was getting all these articles like, ESPN wrote right before this week that he's fighting for a starting spot. I'm like, oh man, come on, guys. I've seen this before. We've been here before. All right. Who are we taking first overall?
Probably gonna be Shedeur.
You think so?
There's just too many signs right now. Like him posting this weekend, like posting the picture of the stadium, everything else, like him meeting Mark Davis, like it just feels like there's a lot of signs pointing towards that. I don't know. Yeah. Can we get a thank you God update?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's tough for me because me personally, if I'm picking at one, I would take Cam Ward, but that's just me.
I agree, but I think
that's just me. But I mean,
it seems like here's my other thing too is like I think if you follow some of the beat writers that like are kind of in the know a little bit more, they've been hyping up Shedeur for like a last like month and a half. So that tells me something's going up, and they have been pretty quiet and almost more just critical of Cam Ward. So I don't know. I'm just reading the tea leaves here. Get my conspiracy hats coming on right now. That's
I mean, you're probably right, but like I was just watching Shedeur Sanders game against Cincinnati, and it's just I don't know. He just doesn't do anything great for me.
Good, not great.
Everything's just like good. You know what I mean? Like it's just
I mean, I think I said it a couple of weeks ago. He reminds me a lot of like Kirk Cousins type of guy, where like he'll be good. He's not gonna like screw you over. He's not gonna have a lot of bad plays. I mean, granted, 3 weeks leading into this, I can't say that about Kirk, but for the majority of Kirk's career, like he wasn't terrible, but he was never that elite guy, and that's kind of what I see with Shedeur.
Yeah, but, I don't know. If you're just taking a quarterback at one, you know what I mean. You got to have some elite trait, I guess, and that's what just it. Because I know he's pro ready, and you could run an offense with him, and he could probably come in and play pretty well, right? That's not what I'm saying. It's more about like year 3. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, the ceiling. The ceiling.
Like, what I'm saying? Like, Bo Nix came in and, everybody's hype about Bo Nix, but Bo Nix was like 24 and he's playing just like he did in college, right? So it doesn't trip me out a little bit, but I don't know. It's just, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough for me, but go ahead.
We're in draft season, so it's floor and ceiling season. That's all the talk from now on. And with Shedeur, you feel like the floor's higher, but the ceiling's also lower.
I don't know. It's just that game against Cincinnati that I watched. I watched it the other day. It's just a game of Cincinnati, and I was just like,
I got to take a look at that one. I haven't
seen
that one.
Like, do something great. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, this is cool. You guys are moving football. This is like consistent. This is just like, it's like, yeah, this is cool. You guys are moving football. But I just wanted something to pop off where I'm like, wow. And it doesn't happen. So that's why it makes me a little nervous. But I mean, the Raiders might do it. Mark Davis might want it because he's Shedeur Sanders. You know what I mean? And honestly, I think that's why a lot of fans are on him, because he's Shedeur Sanders. But it's just tough, because if you really sit back and evaluate him, there's a lot of questions I got. But people are going to want to hear that. Are we really worse team in NFL? I mean, I think the Giants probably worse.
Do you see Drew Lock started today? I don't know. I think he finished like 19 of 40, but he started like 0 of 5. And one of the Giants guys I follow, they posted a clip where he has a lane to just run straight and maybe pick up the first down, and he beelines into 2 defenders. I'm like, ooh, yeah. Maybe it is. Maybe it can get worse when you're having to rely on Drew Lock. I think I agree. Like the Giants are probably worse than the Raiders, but with their third starting quarterback of the year, Raiders are definitely bottom 3. Say that.
Yeah.
They play like bottom 3.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll find out in a couple weeks.
Would you take Travis Hunter at 1?
I mean, I like it. I like the idea. I like it, but
no, they're taking a quarterback. I'm not getting into this.
The way this season has gone, I just can't see them not taking a quarterback.
Mark Davis would not allow it. That's what I think too. I think Davis did not allow it. They're taking a quarterback.
He'll sit there and be like, and I think last year, I think that's something that people like are ignoring with like the best player available is like looking at how last year unfolded, where like they got squeezed out of a quarterback and missed out on what's looking like a pretty good quarterback class. Like I think that's going to weigh on their minds of like, we've got to get somebody now. And especially with one of those guys being in the division in Bo Nix and playing well this year.
Yeah. What do you think happened to Zamir? I mean, he averages 2 yards a carry. Probably that's what was happening, to be honest.
Yeah.
Did AP do anything today from a game management standpoint to affect him keeping the job, good or bad? I mean,
Joseph, I'm assuming you might have come into the stream a little bit late.
Bad, yeah. He's getting fired, bro. Like after this game, I've been watching it. Like, yo, dog, you got to get out of here, man. I'm kind of on that trade too. Like, you got to go, bro. Like, this is not working. I'm sorry. I know that they're gonna be like, yeah, you got David Khalid or something like that. And there's gonna be guys you're like, you didn't give AP a chance. You didn't have a quarterback, but you call timeout with. I still can't get over him calling a timeout with 5 minutes left. So I still haven't got over that. And now he's just adding to it. Nah, man.
Yeah, 4th downs, bad challenges, bad timeouts.
Like he didn't call like even before the half, he didn't call timeout, and they got that pick, and. I'm like, bro, why are you letting them go do a delayed game?
On the 4th down? Yeah. I was thinking, I mean, I will say to give them a little bit of credit, they ended up going for it outside of their timeout, right? And then I think they got it. But yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, okay, it's clear they're not snapping the ball. Like, why aren't you calling timeout to give yourself a chance to go down and score in the second half? But granted, kind of ended up being a moot point because the defense didn't get the stop anyway. But yeah, even that one, I'm like, dude, what are we doing right now?
Yeah. The AP talk. I mean, yeah, we talked about Aiden a lot. Kyle McCord. I mean, I haven't really watched. I haven't dig that deep, guys. I'm telling you guys, like, if they're picking at 1, they're taking a quarterback. So, like, that's after this game and is really watching it. You know, Aiden O'Connell's injury and all that stuff. They are taking a quarterback at 1. So, like, or 2 or whatever. That's who they're gonna take. And it's gonna be probably Sanders or Ward or. You know, I mean, I feel like my Carson Beck nightmares were ended last week, so I really appreciate that, Carson Beck. I don't know, maybe if he heals up.
Dude, this has been like a Spencer Rattler version of like just killing your draft stock between for Carson Beck, like going in, like beginning number 1 pick hype, playing like a day 3 guy, falling in the 3rd round. And Georgia's offense actually looked a little bit better with that backup quarterback in there yesterday, especially if he's out in the playoffs and that kid ends up playing well. Like, whew, you could go from number 1 overall to undrafted this year if it really proves that he was holding them back that much.
Yeah. So I appreciate that nightmare being over. I was, you know. And especially if like Georgia, if he doesn't play in his next playoff game, and then Georgia wins, we're good. We're good.
It's over.
What is AOC's mobility ever going to be the same after that injury? I don't know how bad. I mean, it looked really bad. Yeah, they put an air cast on it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a medical expert, but I kind of felt like because the play that he actually like left the game on didn't look like it was that bad. It kind of felt like maybe the first one where he like scrambled and like that got landed on, and then he was hobbled for the rest of the game. Felt like that plus something else happened on that run that really made it worse. But yeah, I don't know what the injury is, but yeah, not great for a guy that struggles with mobility to have a ankle or foot or whatever it ends up being injury.
Yeah, exactly. People want to take Travis Hunter at one. I just don't see it. I think Mark Davis would freak out. I just don't see it at this point, unless like. See, the other scary part of that is like if they pay Sam Darnold, who threw 4 touchdowns today, which is a possibility too. Like they might go, give Sam Darnold $30 million or something, which is also my next nightmare. I got every time I watch Sam Darnold throw a touchdown, or he rolled out today and threw like a 50-yard bomb to Justin Jefferson today, and he was throwing bombs to Jordan Addison today. And he looked fantastic. And he hasn't fallen off yet. They're 11-2. It's still rolling. Like I was expecting, like, can we stop this train, Sam Darnold? I need you to relax. That's because that's all the Raiders need. Because the Raiders need a corner.
Yeah,
right?
They do.
They need a corner, right? They need a stud. And you're just staring at Travis Hunter. And you're like, well, maybe I could just bring in this. Because Sam Darnold's like 25, 26. He's really young. You can make the case maybe he's going to his prime. But I don't want to take that chance. But the Raiders might do that if they're like, we're at 1. Maybe we could take Travis Hunter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's my next nightmare. He is, bro. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
Do you think they trade out and pick up a QB? I mean, later.
So I'm assuming if they had the first pick, they would go with a Travis Hunter and then trade down. That's the question. I don't think they mess around with it. Again.
Yeah. Do you think the Raiders are capable of meeting all Ben Johnson's requirements? Reports. Does that report turn you off of him? What report? I didn't see that.
So he's like basically. So it kind of stems from last year's report, where basically like had all these demands and like whatnot, but he's like he wants like the organization to admit its failures and like basically like cater to him. I forget exactly what it all is, but he has like a list of things that he needs to be able to take a job. So he's kind of, I don't know. It was weird. I've never heard of like a coach being like, yeah, I have all these demands for you to be able to hire me. But like he wants a lot of things. Like he wants like, I don't know if he necessarily wants roster control, but he wants like an agreement with the GM of being like involved in those discussions, or like being involved in like the GM hire or something like that. Like he has like a very demanding list where it's like, oh yeah, you're feeling yourself if you feel pretty confident that you're the.
And you got the best offensive line in the league, bro. And you guys run play action. That's just what I'm saying. That's why. See, the Lions are they're a very cocky team. They are, but I mean, sometimes I'm like, you guys are the Lions. You guys need to relax. You guys need to hope your luck. I mean, you're up 24-7 last year in the NFC Championship game. The Lions are really cocky. They're a cocky ass team, and they better hope that the uniform don't bleed into their bodies in the playoffs. That's all I gotta say. After today's game, is it Vrabel or Gruden? He's not gonna. You guys gotta let that pipe tree go, man.
Vrabel or Gruden?
Well, Gruden for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, if Gruden comes back, I would enjoy it from my film offensive perspective. But I mean, is he gonna get control again?
Could John Gruden, the GM, step aside and just let John Gruden be the coach? I also don't think. I don't think. The way it ended, I don't think that the Raiders would rehire him, because it wasn't like he got fired for like not coaching, or he got traded like the first time he left. Like he didn't leave on like with a great note, if you will. And yeah, I mean, he just signed that deal with Barstool, man. And he's killing it over there.
And the thing too with Gruden as well is that, like, let's say that they keep Telesco. He lets Telesco get some draft picks. He starts winning. You think Telesco's not going to be gone and he's going to take over? That's going to happen.
He get ego getting in the way a little bit. Yeah.
You get full control.
Yeah. You don't think Vrabel would have any though? Is that the other one you don't think?
Yeah. Vrabel might do that too. I mean, but I think Vrabel might be a little bit more open to Telesco a little bit at first.
No, I mean, would you think Vrabel would be willing to like take the job?
I think so. I don't know.
Yeah, I would think so
Brady,
too.
Right? Because of Brady.
Yeah, Brady, the connection, and I don't know. I kind of like Brady.
He wants a Jets job. I don't know. Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know why but yeah.
Yeah, and then we're getting some Kyle Shanahan and Pate Darnold.
That you could convince me to sign Sam Darnold if they can get Kyle Shanahan, because that's what I was going to say. If you're going to bring in Sam Darnold, as long as he can bring Kevin O'Connell and Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison with him, I can get on board with Sam Darnold. Obviously, that's not happening. But if for some reason the Niners were to want to move on from Kyle Shanahan, I wouldn't mind going that route, because I do think he's obviously pretty damn good fit in that system. He was decent on the spots he had to play for the Niners last year.
All right, let's make this the last question, because I do see some more questions here. But who's your top head coaching candidate? I mean, I don't know, to be honest. There's there's like Aaron Glenn, there's Brian Flores, because I still think they get a defense coach. I feel like no offensive coaches come here. I just have they're too. It's
well, I was gonna say, take the question of take that or remove that, and who would be your top choice? I think that would be.
I mean, I'd probably go like Brian Flores just because of the defense. I mean, maybe even Aaron Glenn, if that was a thing. I like Vrabel too. I wouldn't mind that at all. Even though Vrabel didn't do a lot of winning, his team just was always 9-8, so it's kind of weird.
I mean, he went 12-5, got the 1 seed with Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, but that was a weird 12-5. That was odd 12-5. Let's keep it real. That's why they lost in the opening game,
the first round or whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? The first chance.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I see Kellen Moore here. What about Kellen Moore? I wouldn't mind that. Kellen Moore is a guy that team just has to be really smart. Shanahan, if that happened. Shador would be a better fit for Shanahan. He would get his dude right there. Now you get me on board. Draft Shador if you had Kyle Shanahan.
I think.
Yeah, but who's Winston Moss?
Not ringing a bell.
Jesse Minter said that. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, watching the Winston Moss was last a head coach for the Los Angeles Wildcats in 2020. That's throwing a curveball. I think we might have been getting trolled on that one.
I think so. All right, guys, we're out of here. Like I said, it's another loss. Hopefully answer all your guys' questions. Make sure to subscribe. We'll be back with the film and review. You guys already know how we do that. And then, I'm going to get into some more quarterbacks this week, especially since it's really over. We're drafting a quarterback. I'll probably drop the Shador versus Cincinnati because, it was a weird game to watch. I don't know. You should watch that game, man. Let me know what you think.
Take a look.
Yeah, take a look. It's in Caddy. It's in Caddy too, so you can pull up. It's a cut up. So, all right. Yeah, we were trolled. You were trolled. Good job, Phil. All right, right here, guys. Peace.
Tip of the cap. That was a good pull.